Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's Sports Chambers. Today we're going to be talking some football because Steve McLaren has named a 26-man squad, Reggae Boyz squad, to take on Trinidad and Tobago and Curacao in their two remaining World Cup qualifying encounters, and two crucial World Cup qualifying encounters because Jamaica's fate in whether they qualify for the World Cup or not will be decided across those two games. Before I get into it though, I just want to talk a little bit about the hurricane recovery and hurricane relief process in Jamaica that is going on at the moment. First of all, I really want to say kudos to all those sportsmen and women who have been giving of their time and their resources, utilizing their foundations to tremendous effect, helping those who have suffered significant losses because of how Hurricane Melissa ravaged Jamaica last week. So the likes of Shelley and Fraser Price, who is out and about, interacting with the people on the ground, helping the people on the ground. Magnificent to see. Asafo Powell as well was one of the first sporting stars out and assisting. Orlando Bennett, the world sprint hurdle silver medalist, part of his group. Noah Lyles and Janelle Bromfield has assisted through Asafo Powell's initiative and so on. So it's really great to see all these athletes giving back in this way, because it is really difficult out there in the West, and yes, they need all the help that they can get. I just want to make a quick point though. I had a visit to Trelawney a few days ago, and I can tell you it's really difficult. It is a difficult period for those in the West. But one of the things I'm picking up on the ground, obviously based on what has happened with the hurricane and certain areas marooned and so on, it's difficult to get into most of these areas, but there are some areas that are harder to reach than others. And one of the things I'm picking up is that those harder to reach areas might not be getting the type of relief that other areas are getting, meaning a lot of times when the care packages are taken, it's taken to a central location, and the harder to reach communities are still far away from those areas. And so for them to access consistently the assistance, they have to walk long distances, and sometimes the heat, the rain, it's extremely difficult, and so they get left behind. And so I am making a plea for many of those individuals that if you can get closer to those harder to reach communities, all the entities who are taking assistance to them, then please try and get closer to some of those harder to reach communities, so they too can benefit from the relief supplies being dished out to many of these areas in need. But yes, it's fantastic to see how so many individuals, especially those from the sporting fraternity, have really rallied in trying to assist those in the West who are going through an extremely difficult time at this stage. All right, I promised you some football. Let's talk about some football then. Steve McLaren named a 26-man squad to take on Trinidad and Tobago away on the 13th of November and Curacao at home on the 18th of November. Will be the final two matches for Jamaica once they qualify, because they could end up in a playoff spot and have more matches. But if they do what the fans are expecting them to do, then it will be their final two matches in World Cup qualifying for the 2026 event. Yes, so a 26-man squad name. I'm going to start with the key injury absentees because I think that's important. So Leon Bailey, not in the squad. He did play for Roma against Milan last Sunday in a 1-0 defeat, and based on that performance all seemed well, but apparently he picked up some sort of a muscle injury in training following that match, and so he is not in this 26-man squad. Also absent is the midfielder Casey Palmer, who has been quite integral in the centre for Jamaica, and we saw what he is capable of the last camp, so disappointing that he is injured and not in this 26-man squad. Two defenders as well, Deshaun Bernard, he's not in the squad, and Amari Bell is also out. By the way, it's a knee injury for Casey Palmer. Importantly though, when head coach Steve McLaren spoke to these injuries, one of the things he did say is that it is still likely that Bailey and Palmer could join the squad for the second and final game. That would be the Curacao game. So they are definitely out of the Trinidad and Tobago game, but there is a possibility, as they monitor their recovery, that if they recover well enough, they could be drafted in for the home game against Curacao, and that could turn out to be a super important game, because everything could potentially come down to that game for Jamaica as they seek automatic qualification to the World Cup by topping their group. Demarai Gray is back in the squad. Remember, he was named to the last camp, but then injury kept him out of being able to play against Curacao. A 2-0 defeat against Curacao, and then a 4-0 win over Bermuda in the last camp. So it is good to see him back. For me though, maybe the biggest news coming out of the squad announcement is the inclusion of Rico Henry. 28 years old, he plays for Brentford in the English Premier League. He plays at left back, so a good time to have him in the squad, especially with Amari Bell out injured. Greg Lay played in that position in the last game against Bermuda for the Jamaicans. But yes, it's a very good time to have someone of the quality of Rico Henry in the squad. Now, we've been hearing about Rico Henry, certainly if you have your ears close to the ground, for some time now, that he may be included, that he's been interested, but it has taken a while for us to get to this stage. There is still a problem though, because there's no guarantee that he will be available, especially for the first game against Trinidad and Tobago. And the reason for that is that he has not gotten his Jamaican passport yet. During the squad announcement, the press conference for the squad announcement, I had this interaction with the head coach Steve McLaren. Let's listen as he tries to explain the situation with Rico Henry.
And based on what you said earlier, it sounds to me like he doesn't have his Jamaican passport yet. Can you explain the process and exactly what you will be attempting to do to ensure that he gets it in time for that next game against Trinidad and Tobago?
Yeah, the process is ongoing. We have to have a change of association because he made 2 appearances at junior level for England. So that is in process. He must acquire a passport first. He's done everything in London that he needed to do. All the documents are in place. He just needs to visit PICA, apply, sign, and then pick up his passport the next day. So we're hoping to do that. Unfortunately, he plays on Sunday, so he can't come till Monday, so that will have to be Tuesday, Wednesday. Hopefully that will be done, and we get clearance on Wednesday or Thursday for him to be involved in that first game. If not that one, then hopefully by Friday, and then we've got the Monday for the second game.
Yeah, it sounds to me that, based on the timelines that you've just outlined, that there requires some level of collaboration between the JFF and PICA. How is that going at this stage?
Yeah, that's always been the case whenever we've tried to acquire passports for players, and that has been difficult. That's a difficult process. We do look at other countries who seem to be straight away including players and getting players in, and all of a sudden, we see Trinidad and we see Curacao with new players that have come from nowhere. We don't know their process. But this is the process in Jamaica. We must adhere to that. And we do. So we try to plan early, and we have done with Rico since summer. And this has been the only opportunity, because a visit to the island to collect, to put in and then collect a passport has always been the difficulty in terms of the schedule that the players have.
Is this the most difficult process you've dealt with as coach in situations like this?
The process has been very difficult all the way through for 18 months, and I presume even before that. So it's one of the things that we have to deal with. But, that's the process. We have to deal with it.
Sounds like you're not very happy with it, Coach.
Everything could be quicker. I'm not satisfied with anything. Everything should always be done quicker and sharper, and we should have this and we should have that. And maybe I ask for too much, but that's my job, to make sure that we fight to get the best players that we possibly can. All the other nations are doing it. You see with Trinidad, you see with Curacao, they're doing it, and we have to do it in our way, exactly the same.
Yeah, I want you to talk a little bit about Rico, Coach. I know he's had a couple of ACL tears in I think one in 2016 and one a couple of years ago. Both knees. He's 28 years old now. How much do you expect him to add to this unit, and how important do you think he will be, especially with Amari Bell now out?
Rico is a very good player. He's a Premier League player. And he's had bad injuries. He's come back. He's fought back. Shows the mentality of the boy. And he plays like that, with that kind of mentality. Enthused, loves playing the game. And he's, this season, not played regular, but had games, and is trained and is fit and looks very, very good. Looks very, very sharp. He played last week in the EFL Cup and played very well, along with Ethan, who's had minutes as well. So I have no hesitation in bringing Rico in. It's the ideal age. He's recovering. He's got the experience. He's a Premier League player. He can add to the squad.
And you're saying, Coach, that you feel he is ready to walk right into this setup?
Absolutely. Otherwise, I won't pick him.
Reggae Boyz head coach there, Steve McLaren, speaking with yours truly during the squad announcement press conference on Saturday. And you heard what he said, that Rico Henry is fully ready to move right into the Jamaica squad, but a lot of that, into the team, but a lot of that now is dependent on whether he will get his Jamaican passport in time. Hopefully the process does not turn out to be too tedious, and the collaboration between the Jamaica Football Federation and PICA, that's the passport office, will move so seamlessly that things will work out just fine. I do want to go through the full squad for you though, so I'll start with the goalkeepers: Andre Blake, who is the captain, Jamali Waite and Tafari Chambers. Defenders: Joel Latibodir, Ethan Pinnock, who of course is a Brentford teammate of Rico Henry, Richard King, Dexter Lembikisa, Gregory Lay, Damian Lowe, Mason Holgate and Ian Frey are the players listed as defenders. And then the midfielders: Isaac Hayden, Bobby Reid, Jonathan Russell, Karoy Anderson and Jashon Anglin. And the forwards: Bailitai Kadamateri, Shamar Nicholson, Romain Borrell, Demarai Gray, as I said, is back, Kaheem Dixon, Ronaldo Cephas, Tyrese Campbell. Warner Brown returns to the setup. Remember, he missed the last camp, of course, with injury, so good to see him back in the setup. And DeJohn Whisper Richards, who we were also impressed with in the last two games, first against Curacao and then against Bermuda. He's in this squad as well. Last time around, he was called up as a replacement for Demarai Gray, but clearly he didn't only impress us, he impressed the coach as well, and so he is very much back in the squad. So there you have it. That's the squad that will be looking to lead Jamaica to the FIFA World Cup for 2026. They have two massive games coming up. First, away to Trinidad and Tobago on the 13th of November. That game scheduled to begin at 7 o'clock Jamaica time, 8 Trinidad and Tobago time, and then 5 days later on the 18th against Curacao at the National Stadium in Kingston. That will be an 8 o'clock game for the Reggae Boyz, and we really look forward to it. Now is the time to support the Reggae Boyz because they are on the cusp of heading to the FIFA World Cup, and that would be magnificent. It would be the second time Jamaica would be doing that, having qualified for France 1998. That's where we leave it for today on Sports Chambers. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Comment as well, and you never know, I might just respond to a few of your comments. And I know every now and again you have some questions or you need to clarify something. I have no issues helping to do that in the comments, so leave a comment as well as you go. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks very much for making it Sports Chambers. Take care.